And now, please welcome to the stage today's host, Glenn Gibson.
Good morning. That was nice. Let's do one more. Good morning. All right, beautiful. We are on our last day here together, and we have got an awesome day in store for you. In a moment, we are going to hear from our guest keynote speaker, John Register. This man is a case study in breaking through personal limitations and achieving incredible things that he sets his mind to. He is a two-time Paralympian. He served 6 years in the armed forces, and today is a world-renowned keynote speaker. And he's going to share with you his champion's mindset, which will help you feel inspired and motivated to take the big ideas that you have from this conference back to your organizations and do some great things with them. But before we hear from John, we're going to hear from three gentlemen that you met yesterday. I call these three titans of transformation. First, we're going to hear from John Newton, Hyland's Chief Innovation Strategist. John is going to expand upon the vision that Jitesh shared yesterday and go deeper into our agentic, context-driven future. Then we're going to hear from Mike Campbell, Hyland's Chief Product Officer. Mike has a track record of delivering innovations to the marketplace. And Mike is going to share with you Hyland's roadmap so that you know what to expect over the next 12 months from Hyland. And then after talking about Hyland's innovations, we're going to turn our attention to the innovators here in this room among all of you. Our Chief Technology Officer, Tim McIntire, is going to share our Customer Innovation Awards. And we have 5 winners to share with you across a series of categories to celebrate the incredible things that you among us are doing with the technology that we have today. So who are the winners? We're going to find out shortly. Now, on a personal note, next week is an interesting milestone personally, because on Tuesday marks 20 years that I worked at Hyland, which, thank you. Which blows my mind. I'm approaching half my life working here at Hyland. And I can personally say I am more excited than ever about where we're going, the innovations, the momentum. It is incredible. So to hear more about that, let's hear from our first Hyland speaker this morning. This man is a legend in the world of content management, and he is a thought leader and visionary in the concept of open source. Please give a warm welcome to John Newton.
All right, thank you. Hi, everybody. Good morning. So I'm really glad to be back. You know, I haven't been speaking in a long time, but it's fun, and it's fun to come up with new ideas and start to think about what the future is going to look like. So, and it's probably because of agents that I'm back here at Hyland. I believe that we're in the midst of a really disruptive revolution in information management, one that will redefine how we use information and how we'll build information applications. Agents are the catalyst of that disruption. Ever since 1990, when we were educating users why they even needed to manage their files, we posed the value of the right content at the right place at the right time. The metaphor that comes to mind is I'm in a library and I have all the books and I find the right book at the right time, and it's full, the library is full of librarians who are putting all the books back. Everything's nice and neat and tidy. But that message of right content at the right place at the right time doesn't reflect our modern world. After 35 years of enterprise content management, we still have this information tsunami. Now, imagine that in that library, a dump truck comes and takes and dumps a whole bunch of different loads of books into a library and says, here you go, these are fiction, these are nonfiction. Now, how useful is that? You want the right information in there. So despite 3 decades of enterprise content management, we just can't keep up. Enterprise data just doubles every two years. Knowledge workers are still spending a third of their time trying to find the right information. Well, the answer probably lies with this man, Claude Shannon. If you ever used the chatbot from Anthropic called Claude, it's actually named after this guy, Claude Shannon. And he posed this theory that said, information is the resolution of uncertainty. Now, he's probably the most qualified person to have never won a Nobel Prize. In 1948, he came up with information theory. And he named the real enemy. The enemy is noise. At its core, the reduction of uncertainty. When uncertainty falls, clarity rises. And this is information. So he tied this practice to the notion of signal to noise. He came up with that term. And actually, you look around us, out in the world, especially in Las Vegas, there's a load of noise out there, isn't there? So what does this mean? What does this signal mean in the context of information management? Well, when you have signal, you have order. You have clarity versus noise and disorder. You have clarity rather than confusion. You have curation, everything's curated, versus sprawl. You want answers, damn it. And you want actionable answers, not long lists of documents and query dumps. You want decisions made rather than hesitation and doubt. You want information at work. And information at rest is just data at rest, and data at rest is noise. What we should really be thinking about in terms of our information management systems is that these are active channels of information, efficient channels, rather than clogged mental bandwidth. So Claude comes up with the solution of this as well. It's agents. In 1950, he created the very first autonomous agent. He created a mouse that you could just put into a maze, and it would figure out exactly where it needed to go. If you took it out and put it somewhere in the maze, it knew exactly where to find its electronic cheese. So this was the first time that you had an agentic loop that was actually learning. And it's the same concept as what Jitesh talked about yesterday: order, orient, retrieve, decide, execute, and review. Different century, but same sort of outcome. The outcome is you have determined outputs that are learned rather than simply coded. Now, how these agents work is because of AI. And AI, it probably would not be where it is today without open source. Open source has been the engine that's been driving this cycle of innovation that's actually accelerating. It gives us new large language models, some that we can even run on our phones and our laptops. It gives us communities where we can give feedback to these systems very rapidly and rapidly innovate on agents in particular. And that's why agent frameworks have just moved so quickly. And we have cross-pollination as well. These agents have actually created coding agents that also accelerate everything. So with this AI, we can now create the agents, and I want to focus on a particular type of agent, a particular type of enterprise agent, which is an information agent. These are semi-autonomous, goal-directed workflows. Semi-autonomous because there's a human in the loop who's in charge in the whole process. These are defined in plain English, they reason with governed context, and then they can access tools. They can even write code and then call that code and execute it to do all sorts of programs and calculations. It can also access our repositories, other LLMs, and other tools as well through standards. And when you take these and you start to chain them together, some of the agents can actually drive the other agents. They start to work in a mesh, and they're starting to build knowledge and enable knowledge work. They can either work solo or as an orchestration. They can run deterministically, running a workflow, or they can work adaptively, using the order loop to figure out what is the best way to execute. So this is the abstract concept of starting to pull together a mesh of agents. And in this mesh of agents, we have the human in the loop, and the human in the loop is in charge, doing what humans do best. Because if there's any uncertainty, either determined by preconditions or determined by the agent itself, the humans are there that they can, where they're more intuitive, more creative, they're better at critical thinking, so they can come up with a definitive answer. They also understand the interpersonal reasons for why decisions are made, and also to be able to negotiate with other people. Agents should not negotiate with other people. People should negotiate with other people. So we can take these and we can start to compose these messages, these meshes into patterns and playbooks. We can have a palette of composable agents, each one specialized for certain tasks that they're really good at. They have the right instructions for those types of things. We can start to pull them together. We can do a drag and drop, or we can actually just talk with another agent who will actually compose these things together. So take something like a conversational retrieval. That's another word for your chatbot that you are chatting with your enterprise data, your enterprise information. Or plan, do, review, where you create content and then you send it for review and then you put it into use inside other agents as well. So these are composed, and I think that maybe there's probably about 12 to 15 reusable patterns. We saw IDP yesterday is a really good example of a reusable pattern that we can take, and if we parameterize it, then we can make it do all sorts of things. In fact, we can make them all work together. These enterprise meshes working together in the context of the signals that are triggering them to get work done, with the humans interacting at many different levels, but most of the work probably being done by the agents rather than the people, all accessing the rest of the content cloud, content innovation cloud. So everything's accessible. And so that's us redefining what information management is. We can take signal from the context, and we can build that context by federating across the enterprise, pulling in that context from wherever it's needed in the enterprise. Agents are then doing all the tedious work, and then people and agents collaborate on that work. But the human is in the loop. They're in charge. So this means that we're moving from storing content as information management, and information management orchestrating decisions with the Content Innovation Cloud. To give you a glimpse of what it might be like in this new world of agents, there's one industry that's far ahead, and that's the software industry. And that's no accident, because it's the software industry that's been creating all the frameworks for all these agents, but also all the information is inside of a repository of code. There's testable, structured workflows. Everything's modular or testable. So in these types of agents, we're seeing roughly maybe 20 to 55% faster on a lot of different types of coding tasks. And just throughput overall has increased anywhere from 8 to 22%, depending on the type of tasks and what type of developer there is. Especially new developers are just far more productive. And we just started. Like a year ago, these things didn't happen. I mean, just think about it. 3 years ago, you had never used ChatGPT. Things are just going that fast right now. So where does it go from here? Well, I take a cue from Claude again, and here he is. He's with John von Neumann. If you're a developer, you may have heard that name, von Neumann. Von Neumann was a polymath. He was on the Manhattan Project, did a lot of the calculations. for the bomb, but he also invented the very first programmable computer. That's it in the background. Both of them were researchers at Princeton at the time. And so they hung out in circles with people like Oppenheimer and Einstein, just coming up with these brilliant ideas. And that's when Claude started working on his information theory. So basically, what he did was he started to work on the ideas and concepts of how can we use context to determine what is the true information that comes out of the signal. We can use context to get rid of the noise. Now, we can take a cue from that, because today we also have a lot of noise that we need to just pull out that clear signal, the answers that we're looking for to be able to make decisions. So one of the key innovations that we're working on right now is in context engineering. And Jitesh talked about this yesterday with the Enterprise Context Engine. What we do is, this is actually an agentic process that can go out and mine years, decades of records, data, decisions, all of your workflows, all of your work views, all of your cases, all of your content types and everything is available. And then the agents go and assemble and compile this into a context that the agent can actually use. The first ones are actually relatively easy. Take all that information, come up with some just plain language that describes what the agent is supposed to do, including examples, positive examples, things that it shouldn't do, the guardrails, things to look for, what references it should access. This context is the essence of context engineering, and it should come from your data. This is your data. These will be your agents that will be trained. And essentially, what you're doing is you're starting to compile a digital twin of your enterprise, one that has the skills built into it of what people have done in the past or how the agents have been trained in the past, constantly being reinforced. Now, lots of agent frameworks, you can give it knowledge, but with this, with the domain, you can give it skills, and that's far more powerful. Also, federation itself, I think we've seen this is an important innovation. We keep running our operational systems, and now we can layer on top all this innovation, all these new agents, all these new AI capabilities to be able to search in new and different ways. It's modernization without migration. And it also gives you that real-time, better signal as well. You get the source of information, wherever it is, that'll be used both by people, but also agents. Agents are the consumers of these things. And so this leads to faster decisions. Now, federation today is a system, kind of comparable to other federation systems. There's some nice innovations in there, but imagine when federation is an agent that can make smart decisions about where in the enterprise this might be, and maybe just focus on particular areas and do all the transformation and get rid of all those brittle rules that are required to normalize information. So basically, imagine that, I don't need to know where it is. And perhaps when we start to expand the other information sources to the CRM or the ERP, you're going to have something as smart as an agent to pull it together. And so federation, it's just the beginning. It's going to be something pretty incredible where you just really have information at your fingertips. And AI also needs a new user experience as well. Since the agent is doing most of the work, we just need to be able to present the information for users to make decisions, or for users to do those things that they're best at. So we can collaborate between the user and the agent to create that user interface. Sometimes the user knows best, sometimes the agent knows best what information's there, and build it from that enterprise context because it knows what you're going to be working with. It'll be multimodal in terms of gesturing to get stuff done. You could also talk to it. And the output will also be multimodal. It won't just be text. You'll get all sorts of streams of information. And when you do need user interface components, those are modular and can be pulled in real time. But I think some of the research that's happening at Berkeley right now kind of leads the way to say, what we've got is agent-delivered information, but there's so much context behind there. I can show it. The agent can show that information in terms of really smart overlays that will present itself. Also, you've probably heard a lot about all these coding agents that are out there right now. It's one of the most explosive areas with huge amounts of money going into it and enormous valuations of the companies that are involved in it. But conversation is the new solutions environment. There's something called vibe coding, that you enjoy talking to the computer so much and creating this thing. You get a vibe out of it, you're in flow. That's great when you actually enjoy building software rather than fixing bugs. But basically, you iterate in conversation, and solutions can be created in days. When you combine that conversation with that domain intelligence, that context, it can be even faster and smarter. You can go from what is probably about a 60–70% solution when you just start coding with these coding agents to something probably much closer to greater than 90%, perhaps even on the first pass. We're getting to the point where it could also become so easy that at least power users can become solution builders as well. So creating these things in conversation reminded me of a story of where Claude Shannon with his friend Ed Thorpe came to Las Vegas. In 1961, they were both professors at MIT. And Ed is the consummate gambler. He wrote the book, Beat the Dealer. And so he came with this idea to Claude and said, I think we can build a small, portable computer that you can wear, and we can hide it. And I think we can calculate exactly where the roulette ball is going to go. So they built a little tiny physics engine, put it into this device in the lower left-hand corner. This is 1961, by the way. And you know what? They won. They beat the dealer. And it's incredible. But they got so scared that they just took their winnings and ran away. The mob controlled Las Vegas back in those days. So it wasn't about the roulette. It was about the solution. It was about the challenge. Claude just enjoyed doing this type of stuff. And agents hopefully will make our lives more enjoyable as well, help us beat the dealer. It's going to offload so much work. We're going to be able to curate more information because we got thousands of little librarians running around cleaning up all those books and putting them in the right place. We have institutional memory on demand. We have overnight research where you don't have to spend months writing a report. Your agent will go do it with your enterprise data. That leaves humans there to persuade, to decide, to collaborate, and that's what humans do best. So we can see an example of a type of agent that's relatively complex. Customer onboarding for something like a bank, or insurance, or even a law firm. They have similar types of requirements to do know your customer, to get all your details and documentation, to resolve any sanctions, collateral, anything else, and to just auto-populate the forms, get everything ready, and make sure that the checklist is there and be prepared. This is just one example of what will probably become millions of agents doing the work that used to do. And this is all based upon information management, information theory, and agents that are capable of doing so much more than we were before. And so I really wish I had more time to tell you about Claude because he's an amazing guy, and he never took himself seriously. It's like if he came up with a great idea, most of the time he spent at Bell Labs, he'd get into the corridor, ride his unicycle, juggling balls. This is what he did all the time. He started the the Unicyclist Society of America, USA, a founding member and president. And he said, I enjoyed working on this kind of a problem, meaning information theory, well, without any notion of financial gain or being famous. I think indeed that most scientists are oriented that way. They are working because they like the game. Well, I'm here because I like the game. I like agents, I like AI, and I like open source. This company is the only one that has enterprise content management open source. There's Alfresco, and then Nuxio. But I'd like to announce another repository. This is the core of the cloud content repository that is the basis of the Content Innovation Cloud. We're going to take that and open it up. And it's built from open source. It's built from the best of Alfresco and Nuxio, and it's very fast. This has been streamlined. This does not replace Alfresco. This does not replace Nuxio, OnBase, Perceptive. This doesn't replace those. This is for the purpose of AI-first applications and storing information very, very rapidly. It can also federate with CIC and OnBase and Alfresco and Nuxio, so it can interact with those systems. And there's also a new programming model that's more cloud native in its style. So this is a new out-of-process APIs, but we're going to make those APIs available also for Alfresco and Nuxio in their respective communities so that you can use it as well. So you can try that new you can try that repository now with Content Innovation Cloud today, and we're in the process of preparing the code to contribute it to the Alfresco community GitHub. So if you want to keep track of what's going on, join on your GitHub account, get into the Alfresco project. So anyway, isn't that cool? It's open source. No other ECM company is doing this open source stuff. And how are they going to get this innovation engine? I know how we're going to get it. So I'm going to give, I'm going to give John Register his time, and I'm going to keep it brief, but basically, I want you to take this away. Amplify your signal to reduce uncertainty. Agents assemble, govern context, where the data lives, and then acts. And a reusable handful of patterns of agents, enterprise-wide, will compound in benefits to doing more work, more signal, more work, more information. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Chief Product Officer Mike Campbell.
Good morning, good morning. Wow, what a ton of great stuff. My job here today is to tell you when. So I'm thrilled to be here to give you an update on the product roadmap across the entire Hyland portfolio. But because I have limited time, and because we continue to advance all of the products, I won't be able to get into all of the details of all of the improvements that we're making. But I want to assure you that there are robust plans in place across the entire portfolio. And in the breakout sessions, we'll get into much more detail about all of the specifics. But here, I'll highlight just a few of the exciting features that we're working on together. We're collaborating with you, we're developing, we're testing, we're refining, and all of you, our partners and customers, are helping with that. I also want to be clear about our commitment as a product team. We're committed to innovation that drives value and relentless execution. In fact, so far this year, of 17 major releases that we planned as we entered the year, 11 of them have been delivered as GA on time, and the other 6 are on track to be available by the end of the year. Now, as for innovation that drives meaningful value, well, you've already seen our vision for the Content Innovation Cloud. From the most foundational elements, the repositories that will inform the enterprise context engine through federation, all the way up through the enterprise agent mesh that will ultimately unlock next level productivity and lead you to better decisions. Everything that we're doing is to enable you to achieve your business outcomes. The Content Innovation Cloud is the Hyland product strategy. It's not something else that we're working on off to the side. It's the thing that we're focused on, and it impacts every product that we offer. So let me explain the roadmap and how we're going to realize this vision here. Now let's begin at that foundational level, right, with the portfolio of OnBase and Alfresco, Perceptive Content, and Nuxio. Here in these columns, you'll see many of the key highlights planned for each of these products. And I know it's a lot, so I'll pause, give you a second to find your favorite product and take a bit of a look. Over the course of the roadmap, we'll deliver various enhancements that will increasingly unlock the potential of the Content Innovation Cloud. For example, you'll see Automate and Knowledge Discovery called out there. This will bring the power of AI, the power of agentic automation to the tools that you're already using today. We'll also further extend the value of the investments that you've made in these tools by more tightly integrating with other key enterprise offerings that you're using, things like Microsoft Teams, Workday, and Salesforce. And we'll continue to provide commonly requested productivity enhancements and remain committed to meeting your requirements for compliance and security to protect your content from the ongoing risk of cyber attacks. We'll continue delivering incremental releases on the 25.1 releases that went GA earlier this year, and we'll deliver Alfresco, Nuxio, and Perceptive Content 26.1 releases before we gather again at CommunityLIVE next May. The OnBase 26.1 release is expected right around this time next year. The Content Federation service, which already supports both OnBase and SharePoint, will continue to improve. We'll ensure that it supports both content and events from the rest of the offerings, the rest of the content repositories in the Hyland portfolio over the next 12 months. And we'll also add support for third-party repositories, with FileNet and Documentum being available by the end of next year. The Content Federation service is critical, right? You just heard John talk about this. It enables you to take advantage of these new advances in the Content Innovation Cloud without major disruption to your content innovation, to your content management systems, really enabling modernization without migration, as John said. Now we have a new cloud update service. This was recently released and is available for OnBase, and that will also continue to improve. We'll be delivering a upgrade wizard for major releases that will be available in time for the OnBase 26.1 release next year. And as you may know, we recently released the highly scalable cloud content repository, which will also become increasingly robust. In fact, later this quarter, we'll add governance capabilities to that. And in line with the announcement that John just made about it being open sourced, you can expect to see it in the Alfresco community GitHub in the first half of 2026. Now, let's shift our focus to the core elements of the Content Innovation Cloud strategy. In the first row, you'll see that by the end of this year, we'll deliver a new data catalog and knowledge graph capabilities. This is really establishing the foundation for the enterprise context engine. So what that means is that the enterprise context engine that Jitesh introduced you to yesterday is coming this year. Over the following quarters, it will become increasingly more powerful. We'll add data quality metrics, we'll add industry-specific schemes and ontologies that are targeted at the industries that Hyland serves. And the first foundational elements of the enterprise agent mesh Agent Builder is already available. It was shipped earlier this quarter. Over the coming quarters, Agent Builder will be bolstered with new observability and supervision capabilities, hearkening back to that transparency and auditability point we made yesterday, and integrated with the knowledge graph and knowledge enrichment. We'll expand the role of Studio Modeler to support not just BPMN-style automation, but the enterprise agent mesh itself, with expanded MCP support, pretty dramatic user experience improvements, reporting, analytics, and then later next year, orchestrated multi-agent observability. And in parallel, we'll also continue to progress IDP, and we'll expand our RPA capabilities to leverage agents as well. Now, as you heard yesterday, the enterprise context engine is also informed by applications, both applications that you're all creating with Hyland software, as well as those from third parties. So there's a robust roadmap for even better support for third-party tools, like Salesforce and Guidewire Claim Center, both of which are expected to GA in the next week or so. Then early next year, we'll deliver Content Innovation Cloud support for Guidewire Policy Center and Billing Center, as well as integrations with other tools like SuccessFactors, Workday, SAP, and ServiceNow. We'll continue to leverage everything that the Content Innovation Cloud offers today, plus the Enterprise Context Engine and the Agent Mesh, in order to deliver high-value, industry-specific solutions for common use cases. Of note for healthcare, both intelligent medical records and intelligent correspondence for the revenue cycle, which you saw demoed yesterday, will both GA later this quarter. And then beyond healthcare and relevant for a variety of businesses, we're working on more cross-industry solutions, such as AP invoices and document transmittals. There's a tremendous amount going on here. Tons of innovation, tons of development, and again, I'd encourage you to get to the breakout sessions to get a much deeper perspective on all of these topics. Now, as I wrap up, you heard me say to Jitesh yesterday that the Hyland product team and I are intensely focused on driving meaningful business outcomes. We want to help you solve the problems that matter most to you. And with that in mind, I'd invite you to use this QR code to sign up for engagement with our user experience research team and our design teams. We want to know what's important to you, and we'd love your feedback on the latest innovations that are going on at Hyland. Thanks a lot for your time, and enjoy the rest of CommunityLIVE. Please also join me in welcoming back to the stage Jitesh and Tim for the Innovation Awards.
All right, this is the fun stuff. Welcome to Hyland Innovation Awards Program at CommunityLIVE 2025. This is where we celebrate the boldest ideas, the smartest solutions, and game-changing impact driven by you, our customers. Across industries, you're harnessing Hyland's technology to transform process, reimagine possibilities, and create real-world life-changing impact. We're here to recognize and celebrate that brilliance today. Let's go with the first award. Life-changing impact. Life-changing Impact Award recognizes organizations that are driving environmental progress, social change, and redefining industry standards worldwide. The finalists are Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, General Atomics, McKesson Corporation, Valeris, University of Rochester Medical Center. And the winner is University of Rochester Medical Center. Please join us on the stage. URMC's Cancer Services Program at the Finger Lakes has transformed healthcare access for underserved communities by replacing decades of paper-based processes with dynamic electronic medical records. The URMC team revolutionized cancer screening workflows across 6 counties, empowering real-time collaboration and remote access and life-saving early detection. Since going live, they've supported over 530 clients. Their story is one of resilience and ingenuity. Congratulations to the University of Rochester Medical Center for their life-changing innovation. And we have a sample award here that we're going to take some photos with, but we'll be sending the awards home with each of the winners across the night. So Jitesh, hold on to that tight. Our next award is Customer Experience, which celebrates forward-thinking businesses using content and process solutions to deliver exceptional outcomes and lasting impact. Our finalists are Mad Engine Global, ManuLife, Maricopa County, Arizona, and San Diego State University, University of Texas Medical Branch Health. And the winner of the Customer Experience Award is ManuLife. ManuLife's SharePoint replacement project, which was led by Clear Cadence, exemplifies the power of Hyland technology to elevate customer experience. They were faced with legacy instability. ManuLife migrated over 10 million documents. Their modern cloud-based solution empowers teams with intelligent indexing, instant search capabilities, ensuring every interaction is personalized and impactful, transforming how they serve millions of customers worldwide. Congratulations to ManuLife for setting a new standard in customer experience. Our next category is Operational Excellence. This award honors organizations that are setting the standard for transformation and redefining how work gets done within their organization. The finalists are Dassault Falcon Jet, the Judicial Branch of Colombia, National Government of Malaysia, MGM Resorts International, and Osatran. And the winner is MGM Resorts International. With over 31 destinations worldwide, MGM replaced a disconnected legacy system with a unified Hyland platform. They integrated across finance, gaming, legal, HR to create a seamless digital ecosystem impacting 60,000 employees, 1,300 internal users, and 16,000 external users. From automating gaming audits and labor contracts to digitizing guest billing inquiries and consent forms, MGM has set a gold standard for operational transformation, and I was lucky enough to have lunch with you guys recently and learned you have much more exciting projects in the works. Very cool. Congratulations to MGM for turning complexity into clarity and raising the bar for operational excellence. Our next category is the Content Innovation Trailblazer, which celebrates customers embracing cutting-edge technologies and AI-powered solutions with Hyland to deliver outstanding results. So innovating with a lot of the technologies we've spoken about over the course of this week. The finalists are Benesis, Great America Financial Services, McDermott Inc., the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation, and Rabobank. And the winner is, we saw him on stage yesterday, Benesis. With over 500 trust funds and 250 clients nationwide, Benesis faced the challenge of manually indexing 30,000 documents per month. By embracing AI-powered content intelligence and natural language search, they not only surpassed legacy accuracy benchmarks, but unlocked new insights. Their bold move to replace outdated systems really was the key factor with them winning this award. Using Content Innovation Cloud, this has positioned Benesys as a true trailblazer, setting a new standard for intelligent automation. Please join me in congratulating Benesys for leading the way. This brings us to our final category, which is the Digital Visionary Award. This award honors organizations with bold vision and innovative use of Hyland's content intelligence and automation, driving meaningful organization-wide digital transformation and impact. Our finalists are Amazon Web Services, Farm Credit Mid-America, Lincoln Financial Group, Metro North Hospital, and the Church. And the winner is Amazon Web Services. Faced with the challenge of managing over 85,000 sales assets, think about that scale, and 68,000 global professionals, AWS's enablement technology team implemented a cutting-edge solution in partnership with Hyland. This solution resulted in an 80% reduction in time, saving 17,000 hours annually. With automated metadata, intelligent content delivery, AI-driven compliance, and localization, AWS has set a bold new standard for content intelligence, proving that visionary thinking can unlock extraordinary efficiency and impact. Congratulations to AWS, our Digital Visionary Award winner. So Jitesh and I want to congratulate all of our 2025 Hyland Innovation Award winners and finalists. You are truly shaping the future with your innovation and impact. Again, I was honored to be able to give these awards this year. These incredible organizations are leading the way forward with Hyland. Let's give one final round of applause. Thank you, Jitesh. And with that, I'll hand things back over to Glenn. Thank you, everybody.
We are going to send you off for an amazing rest of your conference today. Just a few things as reminders. This conference is all about connecting with each other. Those ideas, you're hopefully feeling inspired now after John, those ideas that you want to take back, you don't have to go out alone. Visit our Brain Date Lounge. That's where you can network with your peers and you can have the opportunity to show our ideas, brainstorm together, see what others are doing and what they're thinking in their organizations too. You have an invite also to connect with our executive team. We have an executive area where you can connect with our execs and talk about your future plans with Hyland as well. In case you missed this earlier, you can innovate with Hyland. Here's the barcode that we would love for you to participate and help us with our innovation as well. So please feel free to participate in our form. And while we're talking about form filling, we need your feedback. So in your apps, you're going to have the opportunity to provide feedback, not just for the sessions, but for the conference overall. And we love this feedback. We look through it and it helps us do more of what we're doing well and make the changes that we need to do as well. So please participate there. Now tonight, we have an awesome closing party, Vegas style, in the Omnia nightclub. It's going to be a great time. Now, just in case you are wondering, let's talk about the attire. Some are thinking, well, I don't have my clubbing outfit with me. So what are we going to do? So don't worry about this. The only requirements really to think about from the Omnia nightclub are no sports team attire, no shorts, and no loungewear. Anything other than that, I think you'll probably be just fine. So don't wear your pajamas that are branded with the Raiders or whatever that is. But we'll have a great time tonight. We look forward to seeing all of you. So whether this is a surprise to you or old news, I don't know, but I'm going to bid you a farewell and we're going to let you see where and when Community Live is going to be next year. Have a great rest of the conference and thank you.